So now that we've got our frame mostly welded, I'd like to put a weld here across the top, weld the inside of the hangers. I did do the full outside, but maybe just one bead in the middle. But the welder was kind of acting up, so for now I'm just going to put it together as is, and then we'll test it out and see if anything feels weak or breaks, and then I'll get some more welding before we actually paint it. So for now I'm going to start with the axle, bolt it all together, and then we'll go with the seat, the engine, chain, and just basically get it all on there and get it to ready to run condition. So I'm going to get to it. Now that we've got that taken care of and it's down on all 3 tires, probably should address the tire that was good until I set a hot electrode from the welder up against it accidentally and punctured that tube. I didn't want to have to take that off, but looks like I'm going to have to. That's odd that it's pink inside somewhere you never see it. Well, it looks like the tire was going to have to come off anyway, or the wheel was. It was going the wrong direction, so I'm sure it doesn't really matter, but so cool. Now that that minor inconvenience is out of the way, I guess we'll get back to the task at hand. Flip it back over, get the seat on. Yeah, we'll get the seat on, and then mount up the engine, get the chain on, and get the throttle on. All right, so we got some carriage bolts, some washers, and some lock nuts. Let's put the seat on. Got our tractor seat. Probably going to put a couple spacers in the back one, and then maybe one spacer on the 2 sides and no spacer in the front. Give it a little bit more of an upward angle in order to make room for the chain. But it shouldn't take much. It's technically clear right now. I just would like to bring it up just a bit so that there's plenty of room for it to flex. Oh yeah, 2 washers would be perfect. Actually, I think 3 would be a little better. Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. Now that we got the tire on and fixed, we got the seat mounted pretty well and the rear axle on, it rolls, and it rolls pretty well. But there's one thing it doesn't do that it needs to. That's turn. So gonna have to do something to limit the traction on these tires since they're locked together. And that's either some PVC sleeves over the tires, which I did get, but I got 10-inch PVC, and these are 11-inch tires, so I need some 12-inch PVC, and I just don't have that right now. So the other option is to get some horses to grab this axle with their little hooves and turn it fast enough to limit the traction, at least on grass. And I've got about 6.5 of those guys, so let's get the engine put on. To mount the engine, I didn't buy nuts and bolts because I have a bunch of them, and thought I'd have a better selection, but I'll be mounting it with the most random set of nuts and bolts I could possibly find. And so that's annoying, but a little later when I tear it down to paint it, I'll get some proper nuts and bolts for it. While I'm staring at it right in my face, I'm going to disconnect this oil sensor. I'm going to disconnect it later. It's time to take care of the clutch and the chain. So just slide this on here. We got a bolt for the clutch. I'm not gonna put it on there tight right now, just like that. Alright, and we just need to get a length for the chain so we can cut that. Try and keep it off the ground, all the debris, which, I mean, it's gonna get dirty, but just for now, I'm trying to keep it clean. Damn it. the last pieces to get a throttle going. So I got a cheap set off of eBay. Comes with a leather handle. The only downside is not long enough. And instead of just replacing the cable to make that longer, I'm just going to make what I have work. So I'm going to bring it down to the seat mount with what comes in the kit. And then I've got an old cable that I had used the actual cable from, and so it's hollow, but I have some more cable laying around, so I'll use this to come out from behind the seat plate and go over to the engine and get some cable in there. So all it should be is just drilling a hole for this to clip in, and then in the back, and then drilling a hole in the front for that to go into, and then basically take a cable, run them through, connect them together, and they'll be spaced about that far apart, far enough for them to slide back and forth. And then we should get this thing going. So the engine's back on. Got the cables ran. So I'm just going to attach the throttle cable to the engine. I got to loosen up the throttle on there so it'll actually move back and forth instead of staying in place where you put it. And then I'll attach the cables to the frame and attach the cables together. and I had to move into my kitchen to finish it up. It started pouring rain into the carport. You have to loosen the throttle linkage on these Predator 212s so you can use it on a go-kart or bike or anything that you have to modulate the throttle. There it is. Not the best solution, but it is the cheapest for me. Once I finish up with these zip ties, I just need to bolt the seat up and it's ready for foot pegs and then a test ride. The foot pegs are in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching.